Are you tired of feeling ignored or unimportant? Wondering how to get him to think about you even when you're not around? You're not alone. It's time to take control and make him crave your presence, always. Forget the games and waiting around. These tried and tested strategies will make him think about you more than you ever thought possible. Get ready to discover the secrets that will have him re-evaluating everything he thought he knew about you. The influence of absence cognition doesn't just recall reality as it is. It recalls emotional imprints. When there are no new experiences with someone, the mind reconstructs the past based on emotions, not logic. Today, I want to reveal a truth every man needs to know to earn respect from women instantly. While researching female psychology and attraction, I came across a saying that completely changed my perspective. This is why nostalgia is so powerful. When people look back, they don't remember every detail perfectly. They remember how those experiences made them feel. If your presence was linked to warmth, intellectual stimulation, or even a challenge, then in your absence, those feelings stay, and paradoxically, they often grow stronger. The rough edges smooth out, and the highlights stand out. The longer the gap between experiences, the more idealized those memories become. But there's more: dopamine. This neurotransmitter, which drives motivation and reward processing, is released when things are unpredictable. It's not triggered when we get what we expect, but when there's something just out of reach, something requiring effort. When you're always available, you're predictable. No dopamine spike because there's no challenge. But when you're absent and access to you is limited, the brain perceives it as a loss and focuses attention on you to resolve that. Attachment theory supports this idea. Emotional bonds form through a pattern of presence and absence. If you're always around, always accessible, there's no psychological trigger to make someone appreciate you. But the moment you introduce distance, the attachment system activates, especially for avoidant types, those who suppress emotions when things get too close. Ironically, these are often the people who will think about you the most. Are you ready to claim your silent power? Hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below, and let's continue this journey. Absence isn't about playing games. It's about giving space for someone to recognize your value on their own. It's about shifting from passive expectation to active realization. If someone never misses you, never wonders about you, or feels your absence in a meaningful way, they won't think about you the way you want. When people reflect on their lives, they don't recall everything with perfect clarity. Human memory isn't neutral. It's emotional, selective, and deeply meaningful. What sticks in our minds isn't always what happened in a logical or structured way, but what left an emotional impact. That intense conversation, that lingering glance, or that argument that stirred something inside, it all leaves a lasting mark. The human brain is designed to retain the extraordinary, the things that move us beyond the everyday. This is why emotional imprints are so powerful in making someone think about you long after you've left the room. In relationships, if every interaction is predictable, shallow, or emotionally neutral, there's no reason for someone to prioritize you over anything else. But when your presence carries weight, when your words or actions stir something deep within them, you shift from being just another person to becoming an unforgettable experience. This is where contrast comes into play. The brain is drawn to moments that break the norm, that require processing, moments that demand attention. A flat, uneventful emotional landscape doesn't stand out, but the introduction of depth, whether through laughter, insight, or even conflict, leaves a mark. This isn't about always being agreeable or making things easy. In fact, some of the most memorable relationships, moments, and conversations in life are the ones that challenged us, unsettled us, and made us feel something unexpected. A person who never challenges, never surprises, and never adds intensity to an interaction will be forgotten the moment they leave. But someone who leaves an emotional imprint, who sparks deep conversations, curiosity, and a sense of aliveness, will be impossible to forget. Consider emotional memory. Studies show that we remember emotionally charged events far more vividly than neutral ones. This is why people recall their first love so strongly, not because it was necessarily the best relationship, but because it was the first time they felt that intensity. The brain creates stronger neural pathways around experiences that carry a powerful emotional charge. The same principle applies here. If someone associates you with powerful emotions, whether joy, excitement, admiration, or deep introspection, you become embedded in their memory in a way that's hard to erase. But there's another important factor: association. The brain doesn't store emotions alone. It ties them to specific people, places, and experiences. If someone consistently feels a certain way around you, whether passion, intellectual stimulation, or emotional depth, their mind starts to connect those emotions to you. This means that even in your absence, something as simple as a song, a phrase, or a fleeting thought can trigger an emotional response tied to you. This is where it gets truly powerful. Once someone links their emotional responses to your presence, you stop being just a person to them. You become an experience, one that they'll return to, consciously or unconsciously, time and time again. The brain is wired to recognize patterns and predictability as part of a survival mechanism. When we know what's coming next, we can prepare. Navigating our environment is more effective when we rely on predictability, but once something becomes too predictable, the mind stops paying attention and it fades into the background, becoming just another noise that the brain filters out. Now, consider this principle when applied to human relationships. If every interaction follows a set pattern, if every response is anticipated, if every moment unfolds exactly as expected, there is nothing for the mind to latch onto, nothing that intrigues or captivates. This is where many people go wrong. They think consistency, complete emotional transparency, and constant availability is the key to staying in someone's thoughts. But the truth is, the opposite is what works. What captures attention and makes the mind unable to let go is unpredictability, the unknown, the element of surprise. These are the things that keep someone engaged, that bring them back to a thought again and again. When you introduce mystery into a relationship, when you resist the urge to reveal everything, to make yourself fully known and completely understood, you create something powerful: tension. And psychological tension drives curiosity. Think about the stories that stay with us, the ones we can't put down. They're never the ones where every detail is revealed up front. They're the ones where questions remain unanswered, where layers exist beneath the surface. The more you uncover, the more you realize there's still more to know. This applies to people as much as it does to stories. The moment someone thinks they have you figured out, when they feel there's nothing more to explore, that's the moment they stop thinking about you. The mind disengages when there's no challenge left, no reason to keep moving forward. But when you keep certain parts of yourself just beyond reach, you create an open loop in their mind, one that they feel compelled to close, drawing them back in. Unpredictability doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean being erratic, unreliable, or inconsistent in a way that creates insecurity. It means you avoid monotony. It means you don't fall into such rigid patterns that you become a predictable puzzle rather than an unfolding mystery. It means introducing variation into your interactions. Sometimes you engage deeply, other times you pull back. Sometimes you respond in expected ways, other times you surprise. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding human nature. We're drawn to what remains just out of reach, to what challenges us, to what sparks curiosity. If you always say exactly what someone expects, if you always react in the same manner, there's no tension, no intrigue. But when you disrupt expectations, when you offer a glimpse of something more but never the full picture, you create a dynamic that keeps the mind engaged. People often mistake familiarity for closeness, thinking that the more someone knows about them, the deeper the connection. But in reality, it's mystery that fuels attraction. The people we think about the most aren't the ones who laid everything out for us, who revealed every thought and emotion without restraint. They're the ones who left something unanswered, who made us wonder, who made us feel that there was always another layer to uncover. We're drawn to what's real, especially in a world filled with superficiality. In a world where people curate their lives for external validation, authenticity stands out. It's rare, compelling, and leaves an impression that's hard to forget. When someone is truly themselves, unapologetically, unfiltered, without pretense, it creates a gravitational pull. Authenticity isn't just about being honest, it's about being distinct, about embodying an individuality that can't be replicated. Why does this matter? Because of how the human mind forms attachments. We don't connect deeply with facades or personas. We might be entertained by them for a while, but they don't linger in our thoughts. What stays with us are people who reveal something unique, something irreplaceable. This is because the mind fixates on what's rare, on what can't be easily substituted. The only thing in this world that's truly rare and completely unique is an individual's unfiltered self. Yet many people get it wrong. They believe that to be remembered, they must mold themselves to fit an ideal image or present themselves in a way that aligns with external expectations. They seek to impress rather than to express. The problem is simple. When you reflect what others want rather than project who you truly are, you become replaceable. You blend into the background, another face in a crowd, offering nothing unique. The paradox is that many people try to be unforgettable by trying to be likable. But likability, when pursued at the expense of individuality, leads to mediocrity. The most magnetic people aren't necessarily the most agreeable. They are the ones who stand firm in their convictions, who don't bend to social pressure, and who carry themselves with a certainty that says, "This is who I am, whether you approve or not." That level of self-possession is intoxicating. It challenges people, forces them to take notice. Let's dive deeper. Individuality isn't just about having strong opinions or presenting yourself as different for the sake of it. True individuality is rooted in self-awareness. It's the ability to recognize your own values, desires, and worldview, and to express them without fear of rejection. The moment you do this, the moment you stop seeking permission to be yourself, you create a presence that's impossible to ignore. But there's another layer: psychological resonance. When you're truly yourself, when you express thoughts and emotions from a place of deep personal truth, you stir something in others. Authenticity acts as a mirror. It gives people permission to be themselves. And when someone feels they can be real in your presence, when they don't have to pretend or suppress who they are, they associate that feeling with you. That emotional imprint lingers. It makes them return to you in their thoughts, not just because of what you said or did, but because of how they felt in your presence. This is key. Individuality is not just about standing apart from the crowd. It's about creating a unique experience that people remember and crave. When you move through life with an unapologetic sense of self, when you refuse to conform just for the sake of approval, you create a contrast that the mind can't ignore. In a world where so many people suppress their true selves for the sake of acceptance, those who dare to be fully themselves become unforgettable. The human mind isn't purely logical. It doesn't remember people in a neutral, objective way. Instead, memories are deeply linked to emotions, and the people we think about most are often those who have made us feel something powerful. More importantly, we tend to revisit and crave experiences tied to positive emotions: joy, excitement, admiration, comfort, and even inspiration. This is a fundamental aspect of how the brain works. The more someone associates you with positive emotions, the more they will think about you, often without even realizing why. Consider how the brain forms attachments. It doesn't store memories as isolated facts. It connects them to emotional states. If a person is consistently present during moments of happiness, adventure, deep conversations, or relief from stress, the brain creates a neural link between that person and the positive experience. This means that even in their absence, reminders, certain songs, places, scents, or even fleeting thoughts can trigger the same emotions, bringing them back to the forefront of the mind. No, this isn't about always being agreeable or forcing positivity in an artificial way. It's about creating experiences that stand out, moments where someone feels truly alive, where they feel understood, where they experience something that disrupts the ordinary flow of their daily life. Because here's the truth: people don't crave people as much as they crave the feelings those people evoke. Take humor, for example. Laughter is one of the most powerful emotional responses, not just because it feels good in the moment, but because it's deeply social. It creates bonds, lowers defenses, and makes interactions more memorable. If someone consistently associates you with laughter, with moments where they felt a break from life's burdens, their mind will return to you effortlessly, as it's wired to seek out that emotional state again. But beyond humor, there's also the power of deep emotional connection. When someone feels truly seen and understood, when they feel like they can be themselves without judgment, the brain registers that association as safety, as warmth, as something deeply rewarding. This is crucial because in a world where most people feel unseen, where they filter themselves to fit expectations, encountering someone who genuinely gets them is rare. And rarity breeds significance. There's also the element of novelty, introducing new experiences, new perspectives, new ways of thinking. The brain thrives on contrast and shifts from the mundane. If every conversation feels the same, if every interaction is predictable, it becomes forgettable. But if someone consistently experiences moments of excitement, inspiration, or insight in your presence, their mind will register you as a source of something more, something beyond the ordinary flow of their life. This is why certain people stay with us long after they're gone. It's not always about their physical presence, but about the way they made us feel, the way they disrupted our emotional landscape, the way they injected energy, depth, or joy into our existence. And it works the other way too. When someone is consistently associated with stress, obligation, or negativity, the brain begins to resist their presence, even if logically they seem important. What matters most is the emotional blueprint you create in someone's mind. If every interaction leaves them feeling lighter, more alive, more engaged with life, their subconscious will pull them back to you. At the end of the day, people aren't just looking for other people, they're looking for how they want to feel. The mind is drawn to what is emotionally significant, to what disrupts the ordinary, to what creates an imprint that can't be ignored. If you want someone to think about you non-stop, it's not about being constantly present. It's about being unforgettable. This happens through the power of absence, where space magnifies value and longing deepens attachment. It happens through emotional imprint, ensuring that every interaction carries weight, depth, and meaning. It happens through unpredictability and mystery, keeping the mind engaged and searching for answers it has yet to find. It happens through authenticity and individuality, where you become irreplaceable simply by being fully yourself. And finally, it happens through association with positive emotions, where the brain instinctively ties your presence to joy, inspiration, and a sense of being truly alive. When these 5 elements come together, you're no longer just another person in someone's life. You become an unforgettable experience. In the end, making someone think about you isn't about manipulation. It's about creating an irresistible presence that stays with them long after you're gone. By being confident, mysterious, and genuine, you can leave a lasting impression that keeps them coming back for more. These proven strategies aren't about tricks. They're about showing your value in ways that captivate their attention and spark their curiosity. So go ahead, embrace these powerful tactics and let them discover just how unforgettable you really are.